Ah, they're finally sitting with the truth they spent so long trying to bury, and it's eating them up piece by piece. Deep down, they always knew you weren't someone they should have crossed, but arrogance blinds people. Pride convinces them that they can poke, prod, sabotage, and manipulate without consequences. But here's the part that is tearing them apart right now. The moment they came against you, they marked themselves. They thought they were taking a small risk, a harmless game of disrespect, a petty attempt to push you down because it made them feel powerful for a moment. But baby, that moment cost them everything. They bet against you, and it turned into the biggest loss they've ever taken. And now they're replaying every decision they made like a bad movie they wish they could walk out of. Because they didn't expect this version of you. They didn't expect you to stand back up with a strength that doesn't crack. They didn't expect your comeback to be this loud, this undeniable, this unbothered. People love an underdog until the underdog rises. Then suddenly, they panic. And right now, they're in panic mode because everything they tried to use against you reversed in a way they never saw coming. They're realizing the mistake wasn't what they thought you did to them. The mistake was what they did to you. They came at you thinking you were weak. They assumed you would fold quickly, cry quietly, disappear instantly. They had this image in their minds where you break down, beg, shrink, or retreat. They were counting on it. Some of them were praying for it. They convinced themselves that you were easy to beat, that you were simple to control, that you were never going to rise higher than what they saw. They stamped a limit on your potential and expected the world to respect their label of you. But what they didn't understand is that God had already put a different label on you, long before they even entered your life. A label they were never qualified to remove. You were never meant to stay small. You were never meant to stay wounded. You were never meant to remain in the version of yourself that they interacted with. But they made the mistake of assuming the version they knew was the full story. And that's where everything flipped. Because the moment they assumed you were powerless is the same moment they exposed that they had no power at all. That's where their downfall started. They underestimated you, and in doing so, they revealed their own weakness. They didn't realize the depth of your resilience. They didn't realize how quickly you learn. They didn't realize how quietly you move. They didn't realize how connected you are to divine protection. They didn't realize how quickly you would evolve once you got tired of the games. See, some people become fearful when you walk away, not because they care about losing you, but because they know what happens when you finally stop giving them access to your spirit. You were their shield, their energy source, their emotional regulator, their mirror, their guide. Even when they mistreated you, they used you and then mocked you. They drained you and then dismissed you. They tried to break you and then acted shocked when you rebuilt yourself stronger. And now they're sitting with regret that feels like a weight they can't lift. The same mouth that once spoke poorly about you is now closed. The same people who once tried to look superior are now feeling embarrassed. The same eyes that rolled at your dreams are now watching your elevation, with disbelief so strong it feels like punishment. They don't know how to process the reality that you're not only doing better, you're doing better without them. You're doing better because you finally cut off their access to you. That's what hurts them the most. They weren't expecting to lose their place in your life. They thought they'd always be able to walk in and out as they pleased. They thought their behavior would never catch up to them. They thought you'd always be forgiving, always available, always patient, always understanding. But your elevation forced something they were never prepared for: distance. And once you created that distance, everything they tried to keep hidden became obvious. The jealousy, the secret rivalry, the subtle digs disguised as jokes, the way they would downplay your achievements, the way they would hype up your failures, the way they tried to sabotage opportunities you never even knew about, the way they wanted you dependent so they could feel superior, the way they hoped your confidence would never fully come alive. They banked on your insecurity staying loud and your spirit staying quiet. But God didn't allow that. God withdrew you from places that were draining you. God shut doors that were beneath you. God revealed intentions you weren't supposed to ignore anymore. God exposed hearts that were never clean toward you. And once that revelation hit, your spirit shifted. You stopped begging, chasing, explaining, proving, hoping, and clinging. You realized you were never the problem, they were. You realized you were never lacking, they were intimidated. You realized you were never broken, they were threatened by your potential. You realized you were never behind, they were terrified of you moving ahead. And now that you have moved ahead, they're choking on the reality they created for themselves. They wanted to see you struggle, but now they're struggling with their own conscience. They wanted to see you cry, but now they're crying behind closed doors. They wanted you to need them, but now they feel useless. They wanted to feel above you, but now they feel irrelevant. They wanted to dim your brightness, but now their own life looks dull compared to your glow. They wanted to control the narrative, but now everyone sees the truth without you having to say a single word. The shift happened the moment you stopped fighting battles that weren't yours. The shift happened the moment you walked away. The shift happened the moment you chose yourself. The shift happened when you realized peace is expensive, and not everyone can afford it. The shift happened when you chose healing instead of repeating cycles. The shift happened when you aligned with your purpose instead of trying to fit into their expectations. And that shift, oh, that shift is exactly why they feel the sting now. Because you didn't just get better, you transformed. You didn't just heal, you grew into a version of yourself they didn't prepare for. You didn't just rise, you surpassed everything they tried to block. You didn't just evolve, you became someone whose presence no longer tolerates disrespect. Your energy changed, your priorities changed, your standards changed. And the moment your standards changed, they realized they no longer met them. That realization hit harder than anything you could have said. They're now wishing they treated you right when they had the chance. Wishing they didn't speak so badly about you. Wishing they didn't try to compete where they could never compare. Wishing they didn't dismiss your value. Wishing they didn't betray your trust. Wishing they didn't gamble your connection. Wishing they didn't assume you wouldn't rise. Wishing they didn't underestimate your spirit. And baby, that wishful thinking is their punishment. Because you're not returning to who you used to be. You're not lowering your standards again. You're not making yourself small to comfort anyone. You're not giving chances to people who proved they don't deserve them. You're not explaining your decisions anymore. You're not entertaining anyone whose intentions don't align with your divine path. You're not bending. You're not breaking. You're not going backwards. You've stepped into a new season, one built on wisdom, clarity, and strength. A season where you're protected differently, guided differently, blessed differently. A season where everything meant to harm you becomes part of the story that elevates you. A season where the conversations about you are shifting from mockery to respect, from confusion to admiration, from doubt to conviction. People are realizing something they never expected to face. You were never the one they should have come against. And the truth is, they didn't just lose you. They lost access to a future version of you they would have benefited from. They didn't just lose the connection, they lost the privilege of being remembered with goodness. They didn't just lose the opportunity to walk with you. They lost the chance to grow beside you. And now, they're realizing that stepping against you was the worst decision they ever made. But here's the part that's going to shock them even more. This is just the beginning. Because even after everything they've already seen, they have no idea what's coming next. They think the chapter they're witnessing right now is your peak. But what they don't understand is that God hasn't even opened the real doors yet. What they're seeing is only the evidence of you recovering, rebuilding, reclaiming. They haven't seen the phase where you rise with full authority. They haven't felt the weight of what happens when someone who was once underestimated finally embraces the full strength that was inside them the entire time. And the moment they realize what's unfolding, it's going to shake them in ways you'll never have to witness. Their regret is only in the early stages. It hasn't even matured into the kind of realization that hits people in the center of their spirit. Because what's coming next is the version of you that doesn't just move forward. It transforms the atmosphere everywhere you go. The version of you that no longer tolerates confusion, manipulation, or emotional instability from others. The version of you that walks with a clarity that makes your presence impossible to mishandle. The version of you that doesn't shrink, doesn't stutter, doesn't doubt, doesn't hide. The version of you that makes people second-guess their own intentions before they even approach you. This evolution wasn't accidental. It wasn't random. It wasn't luck. It was crafted through every moment you were forced to stand alone. God saw the private tears, the unanswered prayers, the nights you questioned your purpose, the seasons where you felt stripped of everything familiar. And instead of letting those moments destroy you, He used them to strengthen your roots. That's why you're unshakable now. That's why your spirit doesn't bend the way it used to. That's why you don't internalize people's disrespect anymore. That's why you don't settle for half-hearted energy. That's why you're not desperate for validation from anyone. You grew past the level where their opinions mattered. You grew into the place where God's guidance outweighs every human voice. And that shift didn't just elevate you. It exposed everyone who wasn't supposed to come along. That exposure is the reason people are spiraling right now. They're realizing that their intentions were never hidden from the one who protects you. Their words were never overlooked. Their actions were never unnoticed. Their jealousy was never invisible. They're feeling the consequences of being careless with someone who was divinely covered. And the part they struggle with most, you didn't even have to retaliate. You didn't have to clap back. You didn't have to defend yourself. You didn't have to plot revenge. Your blessing was your response. Your growth was your victory. Your healing was your closure. Only now are they understanding that your elevation is a mirror for their own stagnation. Watching you rise forces them to confront their own lack of effort, their own lack of discipline, their own lack of integrity. It stings. themselves because they were so certain their life would always look more put together than yours. They were confident you would stay beneath them. They were comfortable being condescending. They were secure in their assumption that you would never catch up, let alone surpass them. But God didn't compare you to them. God compared you to who you were before, and you surpassed that version flawlessly. You outgrew the mindset that once held you back. You outgrew the circles that limited your growth. You outgrew the habits that drained your progress. You outgrew the insecurities they used to manipulate. You outgrew the fears that kept you repeating cycles. You outgrew the belief that you needed anyone to validate your worth. That growth created a gap so wide, it's impossible for them to bridge now. And that gap, that's what they're grieving. They're grieving the closeness you used to offer freely. They're grieving the access they once took for granted. They're grieving the influence they used to have over your emotions. They're grieving the control they no longer possess. Losing you wasn't the part they feared. Losing the version of you they could manipulate was. They're realizing that the version you are now isn't someone they can tamper with. You're not moved by empty words. You're not persuaded by false apologies. You're not softened by nostalgia. You're not confused by mixed signals. You're not blinded by potential. You're not desperate for companionship. That alone has flipped the entire power dynamic. Because while they were busy plotting your downfall, they were unknowingly preparing your elevation. Every attack sharpened you. Every setback strengthened you. Every lie clarified your purpose. Every betrayal guided you toward the right people. Every disappointment redirected your path. Every closed door built your discipline. They thought they were damaging you, but they were chiseling you. They thought they were slowing you down, but they were preparing you. They thought they were mocking your process, but they were documenting the moment before your breakthrough. And now that the breakthrough is here, they can't hide their shock. They're watching you walk in blessings they tried to block. They're witnessing you move with confidence they tried to destroy. They're observing a glow they never believed would return. They're hearing about opportunities they prayed would never reach you. They're seeing doors open that were never meant for them. They're encountering a version of you that exists because God refused to let their actions define your future. But the real shock is what's coming next. Because your current season isn't your final form. It's the launch, it's the preface, it's the introduction. God is aligning things behind the scenes that you haven't even imagined yet. Connections, resources, favor, direction, clarity, healing, expansion, all moving into place quietly, preparing to show up suddenly. And when that suddenly moment hits, everyone who doubted you will understand why coming against you was the biggest loss of their life. They thought the consequences would be light. They thought the spiritual backlash was a joke. They thought your resilience was temporary. They thought your growth had limits. They assumed you'd fall again, cry again, crumble again. They were waiting for the moment you would reach out to them for support, validation, guidance, or approval. But that moment never came. Instead, you stepped into resilience they didn't predict. You stepped into confidence they didn't want to see. You stepped into alignment they can't interfere with. You stepped into blessings they can't touch. Right now, they're debating whether they should reach out, whether they should apologize, whether they can slide back in casually, whether they can pretend nothing happened. But fear is stopping them. Fear of rejection, fear of facing what they did, fear of seeing how much you've grown, fear of being reminded that they lost someone irreplaceable, fear of confronting the guilt that's been sitting on their chest. They know they can't approach you the way they used to. They know they can't talk to you with the same entitlement. They know they can't manipulate the narrative anymore. Your discernment is different now. Your boundaries are firm now. Your spirit is guarded now. You became someone who forces people to level up or leave. And instead of leveling up, they chose envy. Instead of healing, they chose competition. Instead of introspection, they chose projection. Instead of accountability, they chose excuses. That's why they lost. Not because you punished them, but because they refused to grow while God elevated you. And now, the spotlight they wanted to dim is shining brighter than ever. They can't ignore it. They can't escape it. They can't pretend it's not happening. Everywhere they look, something reminds them of you. A decision you made, a blessing you received, a path you took, a transformation you embodied, a glow on your face that wasn't there before. And the more you rise, the heavier their regret becomes. Regret for doubting you, regret for taking advantage, regret for betraying your trust, regret for trying to compete, regret for underestimating your spirit, regret for thinking you were someone they could mistreat without consequences. But regret doesn't grant them access. It only teaches them the lesson they refused to learn earlier. Because the truth is, you were assigned to outgrow them. You were assigned to step into a version of yourself they didn't deserve to witness. You were assigned to elevate beyond their reach. You were assigned to break cycles they contributed to. You were assigned to walk a path they were never meant to follow. And now that you're stepping deeper into that assignment, the gap is becoming permanent. They're not just in the past, they're locked out of the future. But here's the part that will keep them restless. Your rise is just beginning. What they're seeing now, it's only a preview of what God is molding you into. They're shocked now, but the shock will multiply when the next chapter unfolds, because the next chapter reveals the full strength they never believed you had. The next chapter uncovers blessings they never thought would be yours. The next chapter highlights the purpose they tried to interfere with. The next chapter exposes the protection they underestimated. And the next chapter, oh, that's the part where everything they tried to stop becomes unstoppable. And as you step into it, something powerful is happening within you. Something they cannot comprehend, something they cannot interrupt, something they cannot dilute. You're shifting internally in ways that make the next level possible. You're shedding beliefs that once held you back. You're releasing emotional weight you carried for years. You're stepping into spiritual authority that aligns your path with precision. You're becoming someone whose presence alone reveals truth, exposes intentions, and commands respect. And baby, as that inner shift expands, something else begins forming around you. A new arena, a bigger stage, a higher calling. One that requires you to detach from anything that once made you question your worth. One that requires you to hold your head higher. One that requires you to walk without apology. One that requires you to embrace your role fully. And that role, it's becoming clearer with every step you take. And as you step into that role, the world begins to rearrange itself around your presence. Doors you didn't even knock on open effortlessly. People who once doubted your energy now find themselves drawn, compelled, almost magnetically, to observe what you do next. And the most fascinating part? Many of them don't even understand why they are watching. They can't articulate the shift. They can't name the force that carries you forward. They only know that the energy you emit is no longer something they can control, manipulate, or influence. That's because you've become sovereign over yourself. You've become untouchable in ways that are not about arrogance. It's about alignment. It's about operating from a frequency so high that anyone who approaches without sincerity, without purpose, without integrity, cannot stay long. They're naturally repelled. The universe, in all its wisdom, orchestrates separation so that only those worthy of your space and energy remain close. And baby, that separation, it's more than protection, it's revelation. It reveals who genuinely belongs in your life, who is ready to rise with you, and who was never meant to witness the fullness of your calling. Some of the same people who once tried to undermine you, to twist your intentions, to confuse your path, they are now forced to watch, powerless, as you operate in a sphere they could never enter. And that realization terrifies them more than any confrontation ever could. They wanted to challenge you, to provoke you, to see you falter. But they forgot one simple truth. You were never playing their game. You were building your own. And the rules, the strategy, the power moves, all belong to you now. The higher you rise, the smaller their influence becomes. And this is the kind of victory they will never recover from. Because it isn't about defeating them. It's about becoming someone so elevated, so undeniable, so uncompromisingly aligned with your destiny, that their attempts to interfere no longer reach you. Every step you take in this arena shifts realities. Every decision you make is strategic, born from clarity, intention, and a deep awareness of how energy works, yours and theirs. You no longer waste time explaining yourself. You no longer feel obligated to justify your choices. You no longer operate from fear, from insecurity, from doubt. That old version of you, the one that worried about being liked, being approved, being validated, that version is gone. Replaced by a presence so commanding, so precise, so unapologetically sovereign, that even those who once claimed to know you now find themselves learning who you really are. And that revelation, that is the ultimate form of power. Not force, not retaliation, not manipulation, pure presence, pure alignment, pure authority that cannot be challenged because it emanates from truth, from divine guidance, from the core of who you were always meant to be. And while they scramble to process this new reality, your life accelerates. Opportunities appear, doors open, alliances form, not by coincidence, but because energy recognizes energy. Those who are meant to join you, to witness your rise, to collaborate, to elevate, they gravitate naturally. They recognize the frequency, even if they cannot name it. And those who are not meant to be near, those whose intentions are murky, self-serving, or controlling, they fade, retreat, or reveal themselves in ways that make it obvious they do not belong. It's a natural filtration system that not only protects your peace, but amplifies your trajectory. You move faster because your environment, your circle, and your reality are all synchronized with the higher calling you now embody. The chaos they once tried to create in your life now exists only as background noise, irrelevant, powerless, impotent against the force you've become. And baby, here's the part that truly unsettles them. Your power doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need spectacle. It doesn't beg for attention. It doesn't demand recognition. It simply exists, and the world adjusts around it. The same people who once mocked, doubted, or attempted to manipulate you, they are now consumed by observation. They cannot compete, cannot interfere, cannot undermine, because your energy simply overwhelms any strategy they once tried to employ. They are learning the hard way that the game they thought they were playing with you was already over, before it began. And as they watch, they're forced to confront every misstep they made, every moment they underestimated you, every lie they spread, every attempt to diminish your brilliance, every subtle attack, every hidden agenda, every secret wish for your fall. It all surfaces now as reflection, because your rise illuminates the truth they spent so long denying. And that illumination isn't just external, it's internal. It changes you. It strengthens your discernment. It sharpens your instincts. It enhances your intuition. Every slight, every betrayal, every miscalculation from them becomes a lesson in clarity, a guide to deeper alignment, a confirmation of the boundaries you now hold sacred. You see the people who are not aligned with you not as enemies, but as indicators. You see their behavior not as a personal attack, but as a mirror reflecting the energy you no longer tolerate. And the more you operate in that clarity, the more unshakable your presence becomes. You are no longer reactive, you are decisive. You are no longer influenced, you are anchored. You are no longer vulnerable, you are fortified. And that fortress isn't built from resentment, it's built from wisdom, patience, strategy, and divine guidance. And baby, let's talk about the transformation that goes beyond what they see, what they witness in your life right now. The abundance, the clarity, the elevated presence is only the surface. Beneath it lies a strength that is impervious, a resilience that cannot be tested, a confidence that cannot be shaken, a vision so clear that nothing can distract you from your path. You've been tempered by trials they never understood, forged by moments they couldn't perceive, and aligned with opportunities they cannot imagine. And every single step you take from this point forward reinforces that reality. Every action, every choice, every strategic move sends a message. You are sovereign, you are untouchable, you are unstoppable. And the realization of that power in them, it's devastating, because they understand instinctively that nothing they once wielded against you will ever work again. And as you continue to move, as you continue to expand into this higher calling, the arena itself begins to shift. The people, the circumstances, the energy around you, all begin to calibrate to the frequency of your authority. And those who remain, those who are worthy, are not only observers, they become participants. They become collaborators. They become supporters, visionaries, and allies who understand the magnitude of the force you embody. And the people who are not worthy, they can't follow. They can't keep up. They can't access the same space. And baby, that separation is not just inevitable. It's necessary. It is part of the strategy, part of the protection, part of the ascension that is uniquely yours. And in that clarity, in that alignment, in that space of elevated power, one thing becomes undeniably clear. You are no longer defined by who came against you. You are no longer limited by who doubted you. You are no longer distracted by who attempted to slow you down. You are defined by your purpose, your vision, your discipline, and your connection to divine guidance. You operate now from a level of authority that is quiet but overwhelming, subtle but undeniable. And baby, as they watch, they realize that everything they tried to manipulate, every strategy they employed, every lie, every hidden agenda, it's all impotent against the person you've become. Their loss is not just a consequence, it's a revelation. Their regret is a confirmation. Their astonishment is proof that your path was never theirs to influence, but always yours to conquer. And as that revelation hits them, something else begins to unfold. A force in your life that cannot be ignored. A momentum that refuses to slow down. A trajectory that cannot be derailed. This is the part where they realize that the loss they inflicted was not just a misstep. It was the moment they ensured your rise. Every attempt to manipulate, every effort to undermine, every lie, every hidden agenda, every subtle sabotage, it has become fuel. Fuel for your growth, fuel for your strategy, fuel for your energy. And as that fuel ignites, you move with precision. You move with focus. You move with an understanding of timing and placement that leaves people stunned. Because everything you do now is deliberate. Every decision carries weight. Every move signals purpose. And they're watching, trapped in their own astonishment, unable to intervene, unable to reclaim anything, unable to touch what belongs to you. And baby, this is when your life starts to separate fully from theirs. The people who once tried to control you, to diminish you, to manipulate you, they find themselves in a space of irrelevance. Your energy no longer answers to their attempts. Your progress no longer aligns with their interference. Your peace no longer bends to their chaos. The very people who believed they could come against you are now mere spectators to your power. And this is the part that unsettles them the most. They wanted to test you, to see if your resilience had limits, to see if you could be broken. But what they failed to realize is that every challenge they threw at you was a setup for your breakthrough. Every obstacle became a building block. Every betrayal became a lesson in discernment. Every interference became proof of your alignment. And now, as you stand fully in your purpose, they are left to reckon with the reality that they underestimated what cannot be underestimated. And baby, let's be clear. The people who tried to come against you are not just witnessing your rise. They are feeling it. They feel it in the conversations they cannot control, in the opportunities they cannot access, in the influence they can no longer exert. Every place they thought they had power over you. Every area where they believed they could dictate outcomes. Every space they assumed you would stumble. It's all been reclaimed, repurposed, and elevated. And the deeper truth is that their shock will continue to compound. Because every new blessing, every new alignment, every new stage of your life will only reinforce one undeniable fact. You were never theirs to diminish. You were never theirs to manipulate. And coming against you was the gravest miscalculation of their existence. And baby, the weight of that realization will grow heavier with every step you take forward. Because what they cannot see yet, but will soon, is that this is more than just victory. This is transformation. This is evolution. This is authority that cannot be challenged because it is rooted in alignment, strategy, discernment, and divine guidance. This is presence that moves quietly yet powerfully, commanding attention without effort. This is a life that now flows according to laws they can no longer bend, rules they can no longer influence, and timing they can no longer disrupt. And while they scramble to make sense of it, you are walking fully in your sovereignty, fully in your calling, fully untouchable, and fully recognized by the universe for the power and purpose you embody. And baby, that power is magnetic. People are drawn to it, compelled by it, influenced by it, inspired by it. But unlike before, you now have the clarity to choose who you allow near, who you engage with, and who aligns with your energy. The people who are meant to celebrate your victories, who are meant to witness your rise, who are meant to walk in step with your purpose, they find their way naturally. The people who are not meant to be part of your evolution, they become irrelevant, invisible, or incapable of interfering. And as this discernment solidifies, your life becomes an environment of intentionality. Every relationship, every partnership, every decision, every move is deliberate, and the ones who tried to come against you can only watch as you redefine the standards of influence, power, and divine alignment. And baby, here's the real kicker. The more you rise, the more they realize that what they thought was their advantage was never theirs at all. They thought control, manipulation, secrecy, and deceit could shape your path. They thought fear, doubt, and projection could stall your momentum. They thought envy, competition, and intimidation could derail your progress. And now, they are seeing clearly that their attempts only ensured your elevation. Every strategy they deployed, every tactic they believed would work, it didn't, and it won't. You are now operating from a plane of clarity and power, where such attempts have no impact. They are powerless against what they tried to attack, because the attack itself has become the engine of your growth. And baby, let's talk about the visibility of this moment. The people who once doubted you, mocked you, and underestimated you, they are now forced to acknowledge it. They see the results, they hear the conversations, they witness the recognition, they experience the opportunities, they feel the respect that comes to you effortlessly because your alignment demands it. And they can't understand how it happened. They can't decipher the method. They can't name the force. They only know one thing. Their L was monumental, and they will feel it for as long as they observe your rise. And that observation, it's a lesson for them, a warning for others, and a confirmation for you that every moment of struggle, every trial, every moment of endurance, every decision to walk away from those who didn't serve you, every boundary you enforced, every prayer you whispered in secret, it was all preparation for this. It was all set up. It was all inevitable. Not because of them, but because of the alignment you were destined to inhabit. And baby, the ultimate beauty of this is that your rise doesn't depend on their acknowledgement. It doesn't rely on their approval. It doesn't hinge on them realizing their mistakes. Your elevation is independent. Your power is sovereign. Your clarity is unshakable. Your path is illuminated. And the more you operate from that space, the less space remains for doubt, for regret, for distraction. You no longer need to chase validation. You no longer need to explain yourself. You no longer need to make room for those who weren't ready for your light. You've stepped fully into the life you were always meant to lead, and anyone who cannot align with it naturally falls away. And baby, as you continue to step into this full expression, something powerful occurs. A sense of untouchable momentum, a force that cannot be interrupted, a trajectory that cannot be delayed, a clarity that cannot be confused. And the people who thought they could come against you, they realize too late that what they once tried to undermine is now unassailable. They see the strategic moves, the elevated choices, the divine alignment, the unstoppable energy, and they are forced to recognize their own limitations. The people who attempted to question your worth, interfere with your growth, and manipulate your journey are left observing from a place of powerless astonishment. And baby, that astonishment is proof. Proof that the strategy, the patience, the resilience, the wisdom, and the alignment you invested in are unstoppable. And the final piece, the part that solidifies this story forever. Your life now operates on a frequency that cannot be matched by people who were never prepared to operate at that level. Your energy has become authority. Your presence has become influence. Your alignment has become protection. Your boundaries have become strategy. And as your life continues to expand into this higher calling, the people who came against you are now spectators to a reality they tried to disrupt but could never touch, a life they tried to influence but could never shape, and a destiny they tried to interfere with but could never alter. They took an L so significant that even time itself cannot erase the impact of their miscalculation. And baby, here's the ultimate truth to close this story. Your rise is complete, not because of them, but because of who you chose to be, the alignment you chose to hold, the standards you refused to compromise, the faith you refused to shake, and the authority you claimed as your own. And the ones who came against you, they will never forget the day they misjudged you, the day they underestimated you, the day they tried to manipulate you, the day they thought you could be diminished, because that day was the day they ensured their own defeat. And as your life continues to unfold, as your energy continues to expand, as your alignment continues to deepen, and as your presence continues to elevate, the record is crystal clear. Coming against you was the biggest L they've ever taken. And baby, they will never live it down.